Hello, troopers, and welcome to the 501st Com Chat. I'm Chloe.
I'm Will. Hope you guys are well. We are back this week. Sorry we weren't around last week. Just weren't feeling well. We just not up for
Also,
it.
sorry we're a bit late. We've had a bit of technical difficulties. As you can see, we're not in our usual place. So yes, we're back, and we're going to talk about some strange characters in Star Wars today.
Yes.
So like just little characters that we don't really know much about. We thought we'd do some research, and maybe you guys don't know much about them. Just little characters like in the background that look a bit unusual.
Or someone that you might have seen in like a comic or like a game or something like that. So this is probably going to be a reoccurring series with different characters. So we've picked 4 random ones today. I think they're quite unique, shall we say? They're quite different. So obviously we're going to be talking about that today. But obviously, how we do it here, we always start off with personal news. So we have a Funko edition.
We do. We don't have it with us.
Yes.
But we did post it on our Instagram. It's a Bo-Katan Funko Pop. She has the dark saber and she has the jetpack. So we got her because she goes really well with the Mandalorian Funko that we have. We've got like Boba Fett. We've got an actual Grogu one. So she goes really well with our collection, and we really liked her character in season 3. So
and a hell of a price as well.
Yeah.
Like we wanted to get a Bo-Katan one for our, for our collection, but we just couldn't find the right one for the price or whatever. So but we found that the other day, and it's very cool. And like you said, she goes really well with the Mando and the Boba Fett and that. So yeah, that's really cool. So go check us out on our Instagram and that, and you'll see the Bo-Katan. So it's been really quiet recently in terms of figure release or any news. Really, we have quite an important bit of news which we're going to talk to you about in a sec. But in terms, like I said, in terms of figures, it was like one thing announced.
Yeah.
So we'll crack on showing you that. So here it is. So this is the new Hot Toy collection that's been announced. It is called the Scum and Villainy collection. So
they do look pretty cool. Yes.
There we go. So as you can see here, the first wave has been announced. Most of these guys, all of these guys basically were in the cantina.
Yeah.
So we have Greedo in the middle. We have the Plague Doctor looking guy.
Yes, who I'll be talking about a bit later.
We got Pondu Baba next to him in the orange jacket.
Yep.
And then we've got Cornelius, what's his name? Dr. Cornelius, because I'm going to be talking about him.
Yes.
I can't remember.
So this is actually quite relevant to today's episode.
Dr. Cornelius Evazan.
Yes.
Evazan. You'll recognise him, like when we showed him later.
Yes.
So I thought that was quite
and
funny
then
how.
Got, like the devil-looking dude.
Yes.
I don't know his actual name, but
yes, as you can tell, this is wave 1. So I'm assuming these ones behind are wave 2. So already I can see Bib Fortuna.
The Wanawanga.
The Wanawanga. That looks like Boosh. Boosh Glare or Boosh. This guy looks a bit like a Pike, possibly. Maybe.
Or a Quarren.
Yes, might be a Quarren.
That one kind of looks like a Mon Calamari or something. But yeah.
Looks like he's got a weird helmet on.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
The Plague Doctor looking guy is called Garindan as Zavor. and I'll be talking about him too.
I look forward to hearing about
Yes.
that. But yeah, these look quite cool. I mean, again, it's an interesting and different collection for Star Wars fans to,
Yeah.
get into.
It is interesting because a lot of the stuff they've been releasing, like we had the whole vintage collection Cantina set, and a lot of the stuff they've been releasing is like that old like Cantina scene from Episode 4, and now we've got a bunch of the Hot Toys. So if people do love A New Hope, then I think they're gonna love these figures.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I don't know why I would want a Pondu Baba.
Yeah.
Like, why would I want that as a
I
Hot
wonder
Toy?
if he has an option where you can like chop his arm off.
I think there's going to be an option like his arm, like he just detaches.
Because like Hot Toys usually have like changeable hands and stuff.
Yeah, because
Maybe
all of these
changeable
figures are
arm.
going to come with something different. They're not gonna. They're not gonna
Maybe
be like
Greedo will have like a blaster fire in him or something.
have a hole in him, like
Yeah.
something. That'd be quite funny.
Yes, but they do look cool. It's not something that I would personally buy just because I go for more of like my favorite characters, because these Hot Toys are not cheap at all.
No.
So personally, I'd just go for like ones that you really, really like. Whereas these guys, they all look cool and they're all unusual. It's just personally, I wouldn't go for them.
I will say as well, I love this photo though, with like the lighting and like the figures behind them like blacked out, but like almost enough that you can sort of tell who they are, so you can see that like clearly that's Bib Fortuna, clearly that's Boost, and I think it's a really cool way of displaying them and presenting them, so fair play to them.
I'm excited to see the new characters as well.
Yeah, so I reckon I'm gonna put a random one out there, right? Like a completely random character. I think he's in the Phantom Menace or New Hope. I can't remember which one he's in, but it's a guy. I'm gonna say A New Hope. Do you reckon one of them could be that alien with like a bike helmet on his head, without the visor, and it's like a skeleton like face? Do you know the one I mean? He like walks across screen for like a second. He's got like an old bike helmet on his head, like a motorbike helmet, but they've taken the visor off, and he's got like this really weird looking face. But that'd be cool. If it is, you heard it here first. But yeah, so that's it for the figures and the figure news. Just just how it is. So going on to the sad news first. Should we go on to the sad news?
Yes, we don't have a picture.
We don't, but I'll put this on in a minute for that. So, as you guys might be aware now, the Acolyte has basically been cancelled.
Yes, very sad news.
Yes, it's been getting a lot of attention lately for why it's being cancelled. Personally, I did a post on our Instagram sharing my thoughts on it. I think it's a really sad day for Star Wars fans that we're not getting a season 2.
Yeah.
Personally, I really enjoyed it. I know you did.
Yeah.
I know there is a lot of you that didn't enjoy it. And what I want to say is that's okay. You don't have to like everything about Star Wars.
Yeah.
We don't all have to agree. There's aspects of Star Wars you like. I don't like. There's bits that I like, you don't like, As long
Everyone can have their own opinion.
Yes. We all should, if we're considered fans of this franchise, should be considered, equal and give everything a chance. What gives me the right, say for example, I'm a disgruntled Acolyte fan. What gives me the right to go onto social media saying this episode was rubbish, this actor was so bad, like what gives me the right to do that? Nothing. Those guys haven't done anything wrong. You know, those people that have created it, the people that have worked on it, and the actors and that are in it, they have tried to create a Star Wars project for all of us, like the fans.
Yeah.
You know, they haven't done it because they want to. They do it because these guys are like, let's come up with a story we think the fans are going to enjoy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that doesn't give me or anyone else the right to go out onto socials or whatever saying how bad these things are. Like, if you really loved Star Wars, one, give it a chance, and two, we should at least be trying to support these projects and actors, and you know, because there's some of us that really did enjoy it, and it's people like us and a lot of other fans out there which are now missing out because of these, I'm going to call it fake fans, in my opinion, and toxic fans. And that is why we get such a bad reputation as fans, because we just love to give hate to projects, actors, writers, creators. And
well, we don't.
But I know we don't, but it's like there's people out there that do, and I don't agree with it. And I really think it's a bad day.
A lot of it is quite unnecessary hate. It's, you know, I know a lot of what they've said in these interviews isn't correct. You know, they've said, what about when Anakin blew up the Death Star and all this? But, you know, it's a simple little mistake. We all make mistakes. We might say, you know, the wrong film, even though in our heads we're thinking a different film. But it's like, you shouldn't hate a show just because of an interview that the actor did, you know? Like, the characters, they're just playing a character in the Star Wars universe, you know? And it's something different as well. Like, The High Republic was a book series, and I think a lot of Star Wars stuff in novels and audiobooks and stuff gets missed because a lot of people just watch the Star Wars shows, the movies, and they don't read the books or anything. You know, personally, I haven't read many of the books, so a lot of this stuff is being brought into live action so people can find out more about it and be like, oh, actually, I want to find out more about Vernestra. Let's go and read these books, you know? So I think they've brought the Acolyte into live action, well, the High Republic into live action with the Acolyte, and they've brought all these characters and stuff. Obviously, I don't want to spoil it for you guys if you haven't seen the Acolyte, but they've brought a lot of characters into it that are very important, and now we're only going to get half the story. So I think what they might do is sort of fill in the gaps with novels, more novels and books. You know, get all the people that have written, you know, all of the High Republic stuff, you know, Cavan Scott and everyone, and fill in the gaps for us. But, you know, it was nice to see these things on live action. You know, the fighting that we've seen in The Acolyte is some of the best, like, combat we've seen since the prequels and stuff. Like, there were certain things that you may not like about it, but I think it's not fair to completely hate the show. You know, you got to respect some people do want to see that. You know, there's certain things that I don't like about Star Wars. You know, there might be certain films or a TV show that you might not have liked as much as Mandalorian or whatever. But I think, you know, you don't have to watch it if you don't like it. You know, like, if you think the films are the best part of Star Wars, you can just watch those, and you don't even need to watch the series or anything. But I think there's people out there that want to hear the full story, and now they're not going to get it because people have said bad things about it.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is just unnecessary hate just because of the interviews and stuff. But I try not to take notice of the interviews that the actors have done or the creators, and, you know, just watch the thing and, you know, try and enjoy it. It's part of Star Wars, and who cares what the actors know about the lore and all this? Like, they're just playing a character at the end of the day. Obviously, I know it's good if they do have all of this like research done behind it and stuff. I know some actors have done that, but I think it's a bit unfair to like compare different actors and throw hate towards it. Is my personal opinion.
No, but you're spot on. Again, I think most of this hate has come from mainly one person. Now, I'm not saying he's the sole responsible person for the hate and the cancelling of it, but he is a major factor in it because he does have a massive following. And
he's an influencer.
Yes, you probably know who, but basically he has this view of Star Wars, right? And his big argument is like, this isn't George Lucas's dream or vision. It's like, just because what people are creating now doesn't match your vision for Star Wars, doesn't mean everyone else has to agree with you. Like, some of the visions that other people, like obviously Leslie Headland has had this vision for the Acolyte. Okay, some of it we agree with, some of it we don't. But it's like, she's had an input into Star Wars. Like, we all have different versions of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Don't just go mad because it doesn't fit to your idea of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm very sad because there's so many aspects in this show that they were clearly expecting a season 2, because of the way that how it ends.
Yeah. It's
So
very much.
I'm gonna give him like a 5-second spoiler warning. So if you hear this, you've got 5 seconds. 1, 2. Okay. So at the end, for example, we see Darth Plagueis.
Yes.
Everyone's going crazy. It's like, oh my god, it's Darth Plagueis.
But it's, you blink, you miss him, and then now
like,
we don't know
like
what has happened.
What's he doing? What's his connection to this story? We see Kamir and we see Osha together at the end. They're going off to train as Siths. Like, okay, where does this go? Vanestra obviously asks May to come work with her. So there's so many stories that we're
gonna miss out on.
And I really hope
unless
that somehow
they do like a Tales of the High Republic.
Well, either that or somehow the fans who are actually wanting another season and wanting more prevail, and Disney decide a little bit later, do you know what, we are going to do a season 2. So let's hope. I know we've been rattling on about it, but I think needed to be said.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we're not hating anyone, but it's just, it's nice to see different people's writing in Star Wars.
Yes. And so I've seen this picture that I'm going to show you guys now pop up like a couple of times on my socials. And it's from a newspaper article after the Clone Wars first released, And you know how much all like Star Wars fans, they love most of us love the Clone Wars, don't we? The stories, Captain Rex, the clones, it's so good. This is a newspaper article from when it first came out, right? Clone Wars, video game animated prequel, an inferior clone of a real Star Wars film. Like, it's just, could you look, 1 star? You got the thing here. Now, again, I know the Clone Wars movie isn't the best. I'm not trying to tell you it's the best ever, because it's not the best. But the Clone Wars as a idea and concept, brilliant. Like, it's one of the best Star Wars show. For me, it's like my favorite Star Wars show. 7 seasons of action in Star Wars. I love it. Now, I did see a comment, and I totally agree with this person.
Mm-hmm.
If Clone Wars was created today, it would have struggled to get a season 2, let alone 7 seasons, if it was released today,
Mm-hmm.
because of the fans being like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
it's rubbish. How can you have Anakin having an apprentice?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have one by the time
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith comes along. It makes no sense." Like, do you know what I mean? Like, people would just go mad and be like, "No, don't want it." So thank God this did come out before all the bloody hate. Sorry, guys, I couldn't help it. It's just so bad that we are such a toxic fan base.
Oh, no.
It's very sad. You know, already I've seen Star Wars Outlaws, for example, comes out Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's actually comes out. I think it's already out for the like pre-order, like the the 3-day bonus thing. But
Mm-hmm.
like, I've seen already so much hate. Again,
Be
being like, this game is rubbish. This is not a Star Wars game. It's like the game hasn't even fully come out. Like, give it a chance. It might not be the best one ever, but
some people will enjoy it, and if you don't like the game, then you don't have to play it.
It's just the hate that people are already
what
getting.
You want to enjoy it is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but moving on, because I'm going to start getting angry and start shouting at people. So, my first strange character, unique character, is the bounty hunter, Durge. Have you heard of Durge?
I hadn't heard of Durge, no.
Okay. Well, now you have.
He does look cool, though.
He does. So this is him in the animated series, the Clone Wars, the like 2D one.
Well, I have watched that, but it was a while ago, so I don't overly remember.
So, just for heads up for you guys,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be going into the Legends side of my characters, just because, like, it is very similar to the canon one,
Mm-hmm.
but like, there's so much more details. The Legends is what he's mostly known for. Okay, so his species, he is a Gendai, like a Gendai bounty hunter. I'm just going to show you this picture quickly. So this is a Gendai from Survivor. And I can't remember his name. What an idiot. But basically, as you can tell, what they are is they're just a massive mass of like muscle.
Yeah.
And basically, like, they're basically unkillable, because they just, like, if you chop off their arm, for example, like, it reattaches, like,
Oh, okay.
They are basically unkillable. So here's a little look at a species of a Gendai. I can't remember his name. Let's go kill me. Right. So he.
I'll look up his name while you're talking.
Okay. Well, Durge has been around for a very long time. So he's a bounty hunter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how long he was active in the galaxy? So you know how you got like humans are around for like up to about 90 years. Yoda's around for 900 years.
Yeah.
How long do you reckon Durge was around?
So they live long?
They live long.
Maybe like 500 years? I don't know.
He was around for almost 2,000 years.
So he lives longer than Yoda?
Yeah. So because of his Gendai ability...
He's called Ravis.
That's it, Ravis.
There you go.
That's the one from Jedi. Thank you.
That's all right.
So he survived. He was around in the galaxy for around 2,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, basically, he was mainly active around the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
He was a bounty hunter, but he worked for like the Separatists.
Yeah.
And he got, after battling like many Jedi and clones, he got the like nickname like unkillable because you couldn't kill him. Like, but basically the way the Gendai work, and it's it's not great, but for them, but every time that they sort of lose a limb and it comes back, it drives them a little bit more mad.
Oh.
So they're not entirely like they get a little bit more like crazy and mad every time that they like get chopped and come back together.
Yeah.
Just as a result.
Which kind of makes sense, really, I guess.
He was very formidable. He was tempted basically by killing clones, like clone troopers. He found that to be like really rewarding to him because it was just so easy for him.
Yeah.
He performed several key missions for Count Dooku himself. He even led droid forces in combat more than once. So basically, he was killed by none other than Anakin Skywalker. So during the Clone Wars,
good old Annie.
during the Clone Wars, he was basically on a ship with Anakin, and I think Obi-Wan was there as well, if I can remember. This is in the comics, by the way. Basically, they put him into a jettison pod, like escape pod, and basically force pushed it into a sun, and that's how he was finally killed. But as you can see here, like he looks so formidable, doesn't it? I think this is him against like Obi-Wan, I think, or like a young Anakin. Yes, because of the saber. Yes. But yeah, look at him. Glove. He is like a big. You don't want to mess with him.
He's a big dude.
This is a line from the comics as well that I really like. So he said, "I was once buried alive for 60 years. If that didn't kill me, if the Sith and Mandalorians and the blood boilers of Craig couldn't kill me, then you will not kill me."
Wow.
He's been around a long time. He has seen a lot of things.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Yeah, I think he's really cool. He's always someone I found quite interesting and someone that I kind of want to see more. Now he's in canon, and in the canon version, he is around in the Imperial era.
Ah, okay.
But like I said, I'm not going to go into that. But yeah, what do you think?
He seems like someone you wouldn't want to bump into.
No,
I'm not gonna lie.
I mean,
like
for
his fists right here. Like shout out to this artist, by the way. I'm not sure who you are, but his fist is bigger than Anakin's head, which is wild. Yeah, I think you're right. Ching BA. But very, very cool.
But yeah, as you can see as well, this is like his combat suit. So this isn't like how he looks, because he looks like that, like Ravis. And I will admit, when I saw Ravis in the game, and I realized that he was a Gendai, I was really like, oh my god, this is so cool, because it's like we haven't seen a Gendai since Durge.
Yeah, I want to see him like up against Cal Kestis. Like, how tall is Cal? Like here.
I think Cal's about up to like the mid range, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think?
Wow.
Would you how would you describe him as a weird character on your list? Would you put him like quite highly as a weird one that you wouldn't expect?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think also, not many people have seen the 2D Clone Wars. But it is really good, so definitely check it out. It's on Disney Plus, guys, but it's not canon. But he does look really cool, and you definitely wouldn't want to bump into this guy.
Yeah.
He's got a little bike as well.
So obviously this is him leading the separate, like one of the.
So he kind of like IG-88, don't they? IG droids.
Those ones.
Yeah, but very cool.
Yeah.
So moving on to my dude here. I always thought he looked like a plague doctor. I don't know if you guys know what they look like, but they're just people that wear black hooded capes and they have a long snout, and they were in the plague and they had little goggles like this. But this guy is not actually a plague doctor because he's in Star Wars, but he's called Garindan as Zavor. But yeah, I'm going to call him Gary.
All right, guys.
All right, Gary. But his name's Garindan. He is a male Kabaz species. Now, I'd never heard of this species before. I think there are probably more of this species in Star Wars, but I think a lot of it is in the books. But yes, so Kabaz species are from the Kabindi planet, which is part of the Outer Rim. So a lot of places are in the Outer Rim, so there's no surprise. I tried to look up what this planet was, but there was no information whether it was like a sand planet or an ice planet or a planet with trees and mountains. I don't know, but it's insectoid sentient species, these Kabaz. So I assume it's somewhere warm and somewhere with probably a lot of trees, because there's usually a lot of bugs when there's trees and bushes around. So that's what I'm assuming. So they had dark skin, long snouts, and sensitive eyesight. So this is why he's wearing these little goggles, because they had to wear protective eyewear to protect their eyesight. Their language is made of whirring syllables, because they found it hard to speak a galactic language. So I think due to their long snout.
Well, we hear the weird sort of
like
weird noises in the film.
Which apparently is John Wayne's voice that's been distorted.
I was going to say that, yes, because I remember seeing something recently where he got like credited for the role of it, but it wasn't like he's the one in the suit or he recorded anything for it. They just took his voice, recordings, and changed it. And who would have known? Who would have thought that?
Yeah, because John Wayne's like a cowboy, so why are they giving it to this plague doctor looking?
He must have liked his voice.
I guess so, but it's not English. It's just whirring syllables. They ate other smaller insects, like little beetles and stuff. So that's why they've got this long snout. Because they'd use it to dig in the hives and stuff. So this bloke, Garindan, was a very respected member of the Kabaz clan. He helped with many things, including farming for beetles for everyone to eat. He also had many children. We don't know how many, but yeah, I guess he was helping, populate his species. He had a wife and several children who were well-known senators and artists. So, his children were pretty good. During the Imperial era, the Imperials used protocol droids to win over the Kabaz elders. To basically, I think they told them that they could help, and then they'd come back to their home world and stuff. But it ended up, what the Empire's like, ended up being brainwashed into this Garindan and his fellow students, because there was people that he was teaching, and they become spies for the Empire.
Oh, right.
And they couldn't come back to their home world. So the Empire used the Kabaz species to their advantage because they had great body language readers, they had a strong sense of smell, and great hearing over very long distances. So again, it's probably because they're an insectoid species. They have all these different senses compared to like humans. So the Empire was like, yes, we got these on our side. So this Gary, he was disillusioned with the Empire. He attempted to go back to his homeworld of Kabindi, but to his surprise, there was Imperials surrounding the planet in their like fire, what are they called? Like fire blockade ships. So he spent the next several years working as a spy for the Empire to get the necessary credits to hire an Imperial ship so he could travel back to Kabindi. He accumulated a data pad so he could see the most recent information and diagrams and hyperspace travel. So all the time he was trying to plot to get back there and help his family. Garindan was determined to reveal the truth of what the Empire had been doing to his people and provide them with the necessary technology to claim back their rights. So, you know, he's just trying to free his people. But, you know, sort of in the same time, during the early stages of the Galactic Civil War, Garindan was stationed on the port of Mos Eisley in Tatooine. So this is where we see him in episode 4. This is him with the Sandy Trooper. So he hated Tatooine due to the lack of education and art and the amount of xenophobic people. So if you don't know what xenophobic is, it's people that don't like alien species. Like if they're humans and they're just saying bad things about him, you don't like it.
Like if ET come to the planet and people are like, no, go home.
Yeah, they're like, who are you? You shouldn't be here. This is our world, you know. Not very nice. So he even stole a bag of credits from a human man who insulted him.
Good night.
So
well then, Gary.
There you go. Karma is a bee, I guess. He received a garbled comm message from his planet Kabindi, and it had been so long since he'd heard another Kabaz. He heard his daughter that basically said that his wife had died.
Yeah.
And his people were in trouble. So then he was like, right, I need to take on a job that would earn me enough credits to get a ship and go back to my homeworld. So he had a spy. He had a spy humanoid lady, and she got him codes that he needed to return to his homeworld. So you know, like in the Bad Batch and stuff, they're talking about, oh, you need a chain code, and then Techs are trying to get a chain code so they can get into a planet. So he had a spy lady that gave him some chain codes, but she said they would only last a few days, and do not go there with a rebel ship because you won't get there. So Garindan took the job to search for R2-D2 and C-3PO. So this is where we see him in episode 4. The Empire are looking for R2-D2 because he has stolen Death Star plans. So that is why, you know, he's looking for them. Garindan waited in Chalamon's spaceport cantina, listening to any chatter related to the fugitive droids. He smelled the scent of Luke's speeder and overheard Panda Baba and Cornelius Evazan, which you'll talk about in a second.
This is brilliant how they connected.
I know. It's crazy. Fighting with Kenobi over losing his arm. So we all know the iconic scene where Kenobi's lightsaber chops off Panda's arm.
Pondo, not Panda.
Pondo. It looks like Panda.
Not Panda.
We're gonna have all these nicknames, you know, Beefy Cranker, Panda, Gary,
Sandy.
Gary, Sandy. So Garindan also overheard them discussing passage to Alderaan with Han Solo, which, you know, we've all seen that scene. Garindan waited in the dark between Docking Bay 94, which is where the Falcon was, if you don't know, and the Cantina to see later on the men with the 2 fugitive droids. So he's seen them. He's like, right, I'm going to get some money. I'm going to go save my daughter and my family and everyone. So he later received a message on his data pad to say the bounty was forfeited due to the droids escaping. So we didn't end up getting any money. Then there's very little information of what happens next. And I'm a bit disappointed, to be honest, because I wanted to see him go back to his home world. So if any of you guys can find out any more information, please tell me, because I want to know what happened to Gaza. But apparently he got another job from someone, and then they wanted to defeat the Empire, so he accepted the job because he was like, well, I need a job, I need to go home. And then he said to them, like, I'm very far from home. And that was it. That was all I could find out. And I'm like, did you get home? I don't know. So I'm very sorry to disappoint you guys as well. But if you can find anything more about this Garindan, then let me know, because I want to know if he managed to save his family and his people. So yeah.
Hashtag get Gary home.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting though, because it makes him not so. Because you sort of see him in A New Hope, and I know it's like a tiny little scene, but it's like, oh, he's a bad guy because he's helping the Empire, and in fact, he
was just doing it to get some credits,
so he could go home.
Yeah, but he lost his wife, which is a bit sad.
Bless him.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, quite interesting. Very lots of stuff there.
Yeah.
So you might recognise this wonderful, beautiful face.
It's not very beautiful, but yeah.
The sarcasm.
This is
Dr.
Cornelius.
Dr. Cornelius Evazan. And if you don't know who he is the guy that comes up to Luke in A New Hope and goes, he doesn't like you. He's like, sorry, I don't like you either. You best watch yourself. We're wanted men. I have the death sentence in 12 systems. I'll be careful. You'll be dead. Sorry, I love that quote.
Yes. Very good impression.
Thank you. I was quite impressed with that. But yeah, so what we don't actually realise is he actually gets sliced across the chest when Kenobi does the lightsaber.
Wow.
So I always wondered like what happened, because we sort of hear him in the background being like, oh, like after we see the arm on the floor. So he chops off Ponder's arm, but he also slashed Dr. Cornelius, I think, across the chest.
Ooh,
so he literally, I could be reading for hours and hours and hours. So I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to do some like little bits. So basically, he's a human species. His home world was Alisakan, which is very, obviously, I think it's like a little nod to Alaska, you know, but it's very similar. So he's actually a doctor, and he was a promising cosmetic surgeon. So what he used to do is he used to do like, you know, plastic surgery, cosmetic surgery on people, and you know. But again, I don't know what this is, like what my connection is to this today. But he went mad.
Oh no!
So Durge went bloody mad, and this guy went nuts, and
oh god.
So he went crazy, and he started practicing creative surgery.
Oh, okay.
Basically, he was like experimenting different looks and techniques on people, leaving them like horribly disfigured and like
Oh dear.
yeah, like he was doing all sorts of horrible.
Do you reckon he wanted
stuff.
to do something to Luke's face? Maybe that's why he went up to him.
No, well, he was no. I'll tell you.
He's like, I like the look of that nose.
I'll get onto that in a bit.
Okay.
But I get into another one of my favourite lines here. Ironic. He had an encounter with a bounty hunter, and the encounter left his face like this. So the encounter with the bounty hunter left his face obviously disfigured. So that's why he looks like this. So again, like I said, ironic. You know, he was messing around with people's looks and aliens' looks, and he ends up like this because he's a bad person. But he was rescued, or he was like saved from the like encounter and that from the Aqualish thug Ponda Baba.
Ponda Baba.
So Ponda saved him.
So the one that gets his arm chopped off, that's Ponda Baba.
And the two formed an uneasy partnership. So they like sort of worked together, but they weren't like, shall we say, friends as such. But they, you know, they were around for a while. Interestingly as well, before all of Tatooine and that, he found himself working as the personal doctor of Dryden Voss for Crimson Dawn. So so you know, even though he was like, you know, like a not a good person, he ended up in their employ, and he was the personal doctor for Voss, which I thought was crazy.
That is crazy.
Evazan created an order of servants known as Decrinated. So basically, these are like, I think you see them in Dryden Voss's like service. They're basically like they're servants, but they've got like headgear or like computer geared heads and stuff like that. I think almost a bit like Lobot. But they, you know, they were programmed to like serve and stuff like that. And he was the one who like tinkered around and messed around with it. So, and I believe he was doing that with the assistance of Ponda, who was like his like associate, and they were doing it together. So we have like a little picture here, like from the, sort of like an artwork thing. You can see like Ponda helping out Cornelius. So yeah, nutter.
So that's Ponda.
And then
cool.
So basically they were wanted men, and they went under the they went through some aliases. So Cornelius was known as Rufo, and Baba was known as Sulky. That was their like almost like their, you know, their disguise name, shall we say. And they were wanted men, and they took these names after committing a rash of crimes on Milvani. I think I've heard that planet before. And Evazan was nicknamed the Mutilator of Milvani. So obviously he was doing his experiments and awful procedures there. So we do see him and Ponda in Jeddah in Rogue One. They used like, again, ghastly medical techniques to produce more of the decrinated from insurgent victims. So they use their techniques to basically create more servants and like,
the bad people.
And then they obviously left. Now, basically, last thing I'm going to say about them really is, so what happened in the bar, right? So obviously we see Ponda go up to Luke. So it says here from Wikipedia, sorry. They were in the bar, in Cantina,
Mm-hmm.
and Baba was drunk.
Ponda
And bored.
Baba.
Yeah.
Had a few too many.
Yeah, you did. There's a few Tia Marias in it. And he was drunk and bored.
I
And
just keep
decided,
thinking of the robot chicken scene where he's like got a promotion or something and he goes there to celebrate and he ends up getting his arm chopped off.
yeah. And
Anyway, sorry.
no, it's fine. And basically, Baba went up to Luke to pick a fight because, again, he was drunk and bored.
Mm.
Didn't realise it was a local farm boy called Luke Skywalker. Evazan also quickly escalated the conflict by, confronting Luke and the whole, he doesn't like you.
I don't like you either.
We're wanted men.
Okay.
So I can't help it. Which obviously Obi-Wan Kenobi intervened and was like, look, I'll buy you a drink. And it was too late then. He wanted to fight.
You'll be dead.
So, so Ben's lightsaber slashed when he ignited it, slashed across Everson's chest. But obviously, because it's a lightsaber, it like cortisone the wound straight away.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's not like it stabbed him; it just like slashed him.
Yeah.
And he obviously dropped his blaster, and obviously chopped Ponda's arm off. Now they quickly left the cantina sort of afterwards, and Everson picked up Ponda's arm, and he
imagine that, just picking up
your mate's arm.
Oh.
But basically, he tried using his
doctor skills.
His like knowledge and medical cybernetic thing to reattach the arm.
Oh dear.
He tried reattaching it, right? But basically because of the lightsaber slash cortisone the wound, it made it very difficult to do so, and basically it failed, so he couldn't reattach it, and in the process nearly killed Ponda Baba. So he nearly killed him. He didn't kill him, but he nearly did. Now, again, this is like there's two different ones, right? So in the legends, Ponda is furious that he nearly killed him, and basically like tries to kill him afterwards, like hunts him down. So there's that one. But then in the canon one, which there is so much here. Look, I'm not gonna read it, but look at all this that he like goes through. Like he has encounters with Dr. Aphra.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there's a lot in the comics about him.
Yes, but yeah, him and Ponda were around for like a while, doing heinous crimes and mutilating. So
it's a lot.
There's a lot to go into him, and I'm gonna say if you want to find out about him, go check it out because it is actually quite interesting. But there's way too much to go through here for someone as insignificant as bloody Dr. Everson, Cornelius Evazan. So
yeah.
And Ponda Baba.
I just know him as
the one-arm Aquilish. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah.
A new picture for you guys because those ones were very grim. I apologize. But he looks a bit grim, so yeah. Anyway, so my second person is Lobot, which is this guy here. You might know him from, well, you will know him from Empire Strikes Back. So he is a Malhuman from Bespin. So if you don't know, Bespin is the planet that Cloud City is on. He has an AJ6 cyborg construct, which is this sort of, it looks like earphones. It goes all the way around his head. And I just can't help but think of the scene from Robot Chicken Star Wars where he's just dancing to because it looks like he's got headphones on. But anyway, it's very similar to Echo's cybernetics, and I couldn't find out why he has these or if he's always had that. I don't know.
But I'm right. There was also a character in Rebels. There was a Rhodian who was like a friend of Ezra's mum and dad, who had the implant as well, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think the Empire used them to like control them.
So it was like a torture, like.
I think basically. there was a few different sort of versions of it. Obviously Echoes is just because he turned into a robot. But anyway, so he was paid to run battlefield calculations for the Galactic Empire. So he would calculate, however like the battlefield would run, how big it is, all these different things. He's basically like a walking computer.
So literally like what Echo was doing for the Separatists.
Yeah, basically. He became friends with Chanath Cha and Lando Calrissian. So Lobot remained friends with Chanath Cha, who was, I'd never heard of her before, but she's from the comics, and she was bounty hunter. And both of them fell in love, which I didn't realize that Lobot had a love interest, but apparently he did. But apparently they were friends for many years, but then they went their separate ways because Lobot decided to stay with Lando Calrissian, and she went off on her bounty hunter missions. So
I was gonna say she didn't like his music.
She's like, I want to see a bit more of Rhea, mate.
Sorry.
Didn't like his little beeps. So he eventually began working with Lando. He became a smuggler. So Lando was a bit of bad influence on this dude. They went aboard the Millennium Falcon and they ran numerous criminal jobs. So yeah. Lando was obviously a smuggler, and he made this dude a smuggler as well. One particular job, they were stealing the Emperor's personal yacht. So
wow.
Yeah, I don't know if they knew it was the Emperor's personal yacht, but
I don't think they would have known that.
No, so they just went to this. It's in the comics. I don't know much about it, but I've looked up a little bit about it for today. And they went to this place and they stole the yacht. Ended up being the Emperor's personal yacht. And I think before that was the whole Han Solo taking his Millennium Falcon in the game of Sabak. So yeah, he was like, I don't have the Falcon anymore, but we have this yacht. So there. So that was probably why they were stealing a yacht, because they needed another little ship, but didn't realize it was the Emperor's one. But Lobot got injured by an Imperial guard quite badly, and then his mind was lost due to his cybernetics taking over. So then he was just complete cyborg after. But he was still with Lando and all that, also we see him in Empire. But that's why he's not really with it. He's just like a walking computer. Eventually Lando, hold on. I put that in the wrong section. So obviously Lando lost the Millennium Falcon. So in time to come, Calrissian became Baron Administrator of Cloud City. So we see in Empire that Lando has quite a bit of authority on Cloud City. And Lobot became his chief and aide. So this is why they're quite close in Empire, because he's with him. And he was his mate. And clearly his like criminal sidekick. He was also the city's computer liaison officer of Bespin, and his implants enabled him to communicate with the city's central network. So, you know, if anything happened on Cloud City or Bespin, he could tell the central network straight away, because, yeah, that was what he did. During the Empire's takeover on Cloud City, Lando instructed him to gather security forces to outflank the stormtroopers. Although they successfully helped evacuate the city by rounding up the stormtroopers, the city soon fell to the Empire and Lobot was captured by the Empire. Because obviously he has this special skill with connecting to the computer. So yeah, he was an asset to the Empire. But obviously we know the fall of the Empire after the Battle of Andor. So Bespin received support from the New Republic, and Lobot helped to liberate his homeworld from the Empire.
Interesting, because I'm swearing the comics that I was reading, there was a bit where he was helping the rebellion. Like, Lando got him out or something. And Lando went and got Lobot, and they were sort of together for a bit, helping the rebels.
Was that before the Battle of Endor, or probably after?
Before the Battle of Endor.
Before. Oh, okay. Well, I'm just remembering what I read.
Well,
sorry, guys, if I'm giving you misinformation.
But no, shout out to the bloke with the most lines in a Star Wars film ever. 0, this bloke had.
Yep. But, you know, he looked interesting. There he is. His bald head. If any of you guys, if you bald head guys are looking for a cosplay, then this one is a very adventurous one. And I'm yet to see a Lobot cosplay, and got to be honest.
I will admit, I love the idea as well. Like, can you imagine the casting for it? It's like, right, what's the role? Right. You're not going to say anything. You're just going to stand there, look around a bit, and you're going to have this like computer device on your head. All right, okay.
All right.
Cool, come in.
Yeah.
But fair play to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, weird, strange character.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if he's listening to the podcast.
What you got playing on that machine, mate? All right. Next one.
Meme of the week.
Meme of the week.
Oh, this is so true. This is so true. This is painfully true for me.
Yes.
When you've been over every single inch of Zepho and the game still says 98% explored.
Yep.
Oh, where's this missing little room or cave that I haven't been in?
Seen, yeah.
And he's just looking so stressed, bless him. I know that feeling.
Yep. He does look very cool. This is the actual person that plays. I like how it's the actual person that plays Cal Kestis in the game, but he's just looking a bit like, you know, the paparazzi have caught him at a fun time there. But yeah, this is so true, and it's not just for Zepho, it's for all of them, and it's like you just keep going round and round in circles, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is the bit that's saying I'm not explored, and it's just like a little echo, and you'll just touch something, and it'll be like, ooh. And then you hear something, and you're like, great. I spent hours trying to look for this little section, and that's all I got. I didn't even get like a new lightsaber skin or anything like, you know, nothing. I want a chest. So yeah, this is great, and it's very accurate.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, Troopers of the Week.
Troopers of the Week.
So mine is a bit of an interesting one. Because this is the first time someone has done this on the podcast. And we're very excited.
Yes.
So, their name is Brandon Jones. They go by the name on Instagram TI8623. He's an Imperial TIE pilot.
Mm-hmm.
A really cool looking one as well. And
He's a private first.
Approved from the Alabama garrison.
Mm-hmm.
And he reached out to us the other day and said, hey, I'd love to be on a podcast. I'd love to come and join you.
Yeah.
So at the minute we're in talks with him. We might be having him on next week.
All the week after.
Yes.
But we're still working out scheduling.
Yes. But here he is. I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but
very cool
TIE
fighter pilot.
Yeah.
And he's got other cosplays as well.
He has like a Jedi. And yeah, no, he just seems like a very cool guy. But I'm giving him a shout out because he is the first to reach out to us to be like, can I come on?
Yeah.
So do you know what? Random fair play to you, and I love your TIE pilot costume.
Yes. And if any of you guys are cosplayers or just want to come on talk about Star Wars, then let us know and maybe we'll fit you on. Yes.
Yeah, going along the bottom down there.
Yes.
Check us out.
So my trooper of the week is someone called Buey Art, and they've made this really cool artwork of Captain Rex with a Venator, and it's got like the Battle of Mustafar. Oh, there you go. You can see it really well.
We need this.
It's got the Battle of Mustafar. I know that Will really likes this one because the Venator is his favorite ship. Captain Rex is one of his favorite characters, if not your favorite. And the fact that it's got like Revenge of the Sith like battle at the bottom is so cool. I'm really trying to get it to focus.
You've lost it
but
now.
yeah, I've lost it now. But Buey Art, I think they do a lot of like, I think that's what that one is like. People that get tattoos and they sort of design it for them. But yeah.
So I was just, what do you reckon?
What do you reckon? It went but yeah, it's a very cool picture. So well done to you.
Yes.
Thank you for Brandon for reaching out, and hopefully we'll have him on soon because very cool cosplay.
Very true.
Yes.
So that's it for us today. We hope you've enjoyed it. Something a bit different. 4 characters that you've never really knew about.
You blink, you miss them.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this is a series that we might do some more of because there's so many characters out there that, you know, people probably want to know. Like, I was choosing today between doing Dr. Cornelius Evazan or doing some death sticks.
Yeah, him.
So, you know,
you've got like Max Revo, the little blue elephant. Oh,
my boy.
There's so many we could do. So yeah, maybe we'll do more of these in the future.
Yes.
But yeah, and also if you guys have any suggestions of characters that you think we should talk about, then let us know as well.
Yeah. But from us guys, we will see you.